everyone, welcome back. That's a weird intro. I'm trying to figure out what my intro and end card, my outro, that's what it's called, is. I wanted to talk about something a little more lighthearted this time. And so I am going to be talking about things I believed as a child. Children, kind of dumb sometimes, and have some really weird beliefs and ideas, and I was a part of that, obviously. Can you hear the plane? Of course that would happen. The first one is a super obvious thing because I think everybody thought this as a child, but I used to think that the moon followed me while I was in the car. So yeah, just getting that one out of the way. The next thing I believed is that when a character in a movie or TV show grows up, I thought it was the same actor. Like the people making the movie actually waited like 10 years for that child to grow up and continued filming. And I heard that a lot of other people thought this too. So yeah, that's just something I totally thought. The next thing I believed it's gonna be so weird to explain, but when I would be watching TV with my mom, she'd be watching a movie and the love interests kiss. I don't even remember what I would ask her, but I would point out that they're kissing, or like, why are they kissing, or how are they kissing, or whatever I used to ask. And she said they were just acting. And I took this as they're not actually touching lips. Like when actors were kissing and they were acting, I thought that that there's like no physical contact, and I would watch it and I was like, no, like they're totally, like, I couldn't figure out how they were doing it because it looked like their mouths were touching, and that, like, I couldn't figure out. I'm like, this not acting because they're touching. Like, this makes no sense. So I don't know. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. But when my mom said they were acting, I thought she meant that they were not actually physically kissing. So yeah, it took me like, I couldn't figure that out for the longest time. I wish I could remember when I figured it out, but like, it's the longest time. Another thing I used to believe as a child was that traffic lights were controlled by people, and that there were actually like people. Like I would picture like a person sitting in a dark room with a bunch of TVs, and every TV screen had like a different traffic light on it, and they would just like pick and choose when the traffic light would turn red and green and stuff like that. And I always pictured them with like a cup of coffee, because you would have to have coffee for that job. Like, it sounded like such a boring job. So yeah, that's something I believed for a long time too. Imagine if that was a real job though. That sounds so terrible. Another thing I believed was so when I would watch like toy advertisements on TV, and the commercial would say batteries not included, I thought, I breathed really weird there, but I thought when they said batteries not included, it meant that the toy didn't need batteries to work. And so I remember like one time I was watching some toy commercial, and my mom was there, I think, or my dad, but I think it was my mom. And when at the end of the commercial, when it said batteries not included, I looked back at my mom and I was like, look mom, look, batteries not included, we should get it, batteries aren't included, or something like that. And I wish I could remember their reaction, but I just remember thinking that was like a selling point, that they didn't need batteries. But yeah, that was not correct at all. When I was a kid, I used to have 2 cockatiels. Is that what they're called? You know, the 2 birds with the little cheekies, little pink cheekies, so cute. And one of them, I actually don't know. I know at least one was a girl, a female birdie. I don't know if both of them were, but one of them would lay eggs for sure. And they were in the backyard, and they had this huge cage, like big cage for 2 little birds. And they had like a little birdhouse in it, so they can go in and like get away from everything. And they would lay the eggs in there, and then they would push the eggs out. And the eggs would fall like out. It would like fall through the cage sometimes. So there would just be like little tiny bird eggs like on the floor. And I thought I could hatch them. So I would like make a nest out of grass and leaves and stuff. And I'll put the egg in there. And I would sit on it, but obviously not sit on it because I didn't want to like break it. So I would like hover over it. so that like I was barely touching it, or I probably wasn't even touching it, honestly. But like I thought if I just like waited long enough and made a nest and kept it warm, it would hatch. But clearly that never happened. But I did that like multiple times for sure. I remember doing it multiple times. So I just really wanted some more birdies. So young and so pure. I feel like I told this story before, but just in case I haven't, when I was tiny, like baby Leslie, I thought that it was bad to swallow your saliva. And I didn't even know the word for it, what the word for it was. So I would just call it water. And I remember just one night, I feel like I woke up in the middle of the night, but I don't think so. But I just remember one night just freaking out. And my mom was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "I swallowed my water. I swallowed my water." And I was just like freaking out because I swallowed my saliva. I don't know why I thought it was bad. Why? Like, I don't know. But I just remember freaking out. And I wish I could... I'd give anything to see like all the reactions of my parents and stuff from that. But yeah, I don't remember what happened after that. I just remember freaking out because I swallowed my saliva and I thought it was bad. Imagine if you only produced saliva like once in your life, and once you swallowed it, it was gone forever and you just lived with a dry mouth for the rest of your life. Pretty messed up. No wonder why I was so like messed up about it at that time. The next two things I'm going to talk about are a little personal. Might be a little uncomfortable for a younger audience, or just audiences who like aren't comfortable talking about like body stuff. So I'm warning you right now. But the first thing is when I first got my period. I got it when I was like in 6th grade or something. And every year in the elementary school that I went to, like at the end of every year, each class would perform a dance. So like, I forgot when we would start practicing, but they would just give us a song and we would come up with like a choreography for it, or the teachers would or something, and we would perform it in front of the school at like the last day of school or something like that. And when the performance was going on, that's when I got my period. It wasn't the first time I got my period, but I just happened to have my period during that time. And I was very new at it, and I didn't want to feel it while I was dancing. That's uncomfortable. So I was like, I should wear a tampon, right? That'll make it easier. I've heard good things about like not feeling it come out. So this is clearly what I have to do. But I didn't like understand my anatomy. So what I thought, the way you inserted a tampon was that you just kind of put it in like a hot dog, if you know what I'm saying. Like it doesn't really go in anything. It just is kind of on the outside, like a hot dog weenie. And you can imagine, first of all, that's uncomfortable. It's not supposed to be worn like that. And that was just way more uncomfortable when I had to like dance a whole song in front of the whole school while a tampon was in like that. And the whole time I was just freaking out, thinking it was gonna fall out. And I thought that for a while, actually. I wish I can't remember when I realized the correct way to insert a tampon is, but dang, I just remember it being like that for a while. And yeah, it didn't really help. It just made me more anxious the entire dance. I think my mom might have told me that's not how you're supposed to wear, but that wasn't helpful. And the last thing has a lot to do with what I just talked about, which was I thought that during some intimate times with a man or with a person with that genitalia, I don't want to but I thought that during those intimate times, that is how the pee-pee went in like a hot dog, and it didn't go anywhere. It was just like a hot dog, and that's how it worked. That's how that worked. That's pretty much it. I thought that for a very long time as well. So, yeah, you can picture that if you want. But, yeah, I'm glad I learned that's not how it works. Man, anatomy is weird, guys. They don't really teach you the very specific stuff in school. So, I mean, like, you can't blame me. And I didn't, like, watch that kind of stuff back then. But that's it. I hope I don't get demonetized. I'm broke, so... Well, that's it. That's the end of that video. I hope you enjoyed my beliefs. I would love to hear your beliefs in the comments down below, because I honestly... It took me a long time to come up with all the things that I came up with in this video. I can't remember anything. So maybe if you guys leave your comments, I'll be like, oh yeah, I believe that too. Wow, what a crazy world, or whatever. So yeah, leave those weird beliefs and ideas you had as a child in the comments down below. I'd love to read them, and thank you for the support. Please be good outlets for me, and don't forget to subscribble down below. I don't know if I can actually keep that up, but I'm gonna try my best. Bye!